So, what's been going on in your world? Anything exciting?
No, just same old life, man. And, doing stuff, talking, kind of learning how to talk again, which is a weird thing.
Learning how to talk again.
Well, I had one of my back teeth pulled.
Oh,
Well, it was capped, right, years ago. Very expensive process, too. And turns out that they didn't cap it very well. And there was a infection that got put in there.
oh, damn.
Yeah, so it went all the way infected my jawline, my jaw, like the bone.
Yeah.
So I had clearly extreme pain, and so they ended up saying, yeah, that thing's all eaten up from underneath. We have to pull it, and they have to do a bunch of shaving on my jaw because the infection went into my bone in my jaw. And then, so they did that, and then I did a bone graft, clearly, because they pulled out a shitload of stuff. And then I healed, trying to heal. It took like over a month before I could like really eat anything worth a shit. And like, something as small as that. And you don't understand until you're missing it. Like I was actually relying on that back tooth with my tongue to talk. So I started developing a lisp.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I still have it every now and then. I still do it. I have to actively tell my tongue when I'm talking to say certain words, so that I don't lisp. It's fucking weird, dude. Just one tooth, and that changes everything. Like it's fucking. But yeah, if you ever have to do that as an adult, it sucks buttholes, man.
I just went in this week because I had to get a crown done. I chipped a tooth probably 3 or 4 months ago. One of my back molars.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, and so I got to go in finally to the dentist this last week, and they're putting a crown in. But of course, right now I've just got the temporary. But yeah, like that was bothering me for a while. But I didn't have an infection or anything like that, right? So I mean, and that's always where things get hairy, is when you get an infection in those teeth like that, and the way that it can travel down, because once it gets down into that jawline, and if it starts to travel down your neck and stuff, like it can be really dangerous.
It'll kill you.
Yeah.
It's an infection. It's like no different from back in the day. Motherfuckers getting infections from small cuts when they're on the road,
Dude, could you imagine that? Like, that's a horrible way to go. Like, oh, damn it. And could you imagine being in battle, surviving the battle, and then, it just got nicked with something, gets infected.
Yeah, dude. Life is we're pretty weak, man. Yeah, our internals are strong as fuck, but as soon as something external gets in,
yeah,
it has a hard time dealing by itself. Antibiotics are like some of the greatest shits that we've been able to pill up. You know what I mean? Like
they're
pretty amazing.
I think that's probably one of the number one inventions that comes to human longevity has been, the finding of antibiotics.
Yeah, dude, no doubt. Without that shit, motherfuckers are dying from everything.
Yeah.
Like, where do they... Everything, man. Every time you get antibiotics for flogging everything, because you get an infection from any sort of surgery or anything, they'll fucking kill you, man.
Yeah.
Those fucking bugs, those damn viruses and shit, those motherfuckers are brutal.
You know what I heard the other day that I found really interesting is most of the time we think of like the Middle Ages and stuff like that. The people had like a really low age, like maximum age that they would die like when they were 30, 40 years old.
Yeah.
And they're finding more and more that if people remain relatively healthy without getting damaged in some way, like from battle or anything like that, they were people that were living well into their 80s.
Yeah, there was just nothing you could do for when you got cut. You know?
Yeah.
Or especially soldiers and shit always getting wounds. Like if you get shot by a bullet back in the day, which is just a metal ball, it's not like it was. Yeah, I mean, who knows what's on that little metal ball? Anything, and you're fucking dead. And they would put shit on their bullets too.
Yeah,
they weren't sanitary on purpose, so that way you may get treated and the wound may heal, like externally, but all that shit that got introduced into your system, like that infection and shit's gonna kill you.
Oh yeah, and then I mean, you hear the stories like during the Civil War, like they wouldn't even clean their instruments in between. Like they were just like, it's still bloody from the previous dude. Let's still use it over again.
The shit we know versus what we don't know, like in that department, that's wild.
That's insane. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're on the mend, man. So are they going to put in they putting it in post, or what are they going to do with that tooth? Or are they just going to remove it entirely?
Yeah, I mean, it's gone.
Yeah.
Like it's healed over now. It's mostly healed over. I still have to syringe a little bit because there's still a little bit of opening, but, like I can eat normally. I can't chew on that side still, but like I can chew close to that side. So it's getting there. And then with the bone graft, I'll be able to get implants. So, I can get a bridge, from one tooth to the other, so that I won't have a gap there.
Okay.
That's something I don't know if insurance will pay for, so that might be an out-of-pocket expense. We'll have to see how that comes up, because it's not. Insurances are stupid, how they
and that's not. It's so stupid. Like, so some of that stuff, they'll be like, "Well, that's cosmetic." It's like, no, like I need that to chew.
Yeah. And and looking at it too, like I still have all my teeth, right? Like in terms of my teeth, I don't have any veneers and anything like that. And I know people who do, and that's fine. But that scares me. Like, I don't having all that fake shit in your mouth. It's just weird to me. But at the same time, I get it, and like I would do it if it came down to it.
Yeah,
but my teeth are really healthy outside of my back teeth, and I just blame that on bad brushing habits growing up, and then just not paying attention. It's just what it is. But I never had bad breath, and I've always been clean, but I've never been an avid flosser, and I've never been the three time a day brusher, that type of dude. I'm still not, but I do floss like 2 times a day now. I've been doing that for years, but the damage is done. Like if you don't have good habits growing up, your teeth get fucked up when you're a teenager and you get your adult teeth in and you're not taking care of them, and it's all because of miseducation, right, or lack of education.
Yeah, well, and one of the things that I still struggle with today, and who would have thought we were going to start talking about teeth, but flossing. Flossing is one of those things where I'm still not I'm really not consistent with it at all. If my dentist was listening to this, they'd be like, "What?" Yeah, because I mainly brush my teeth, and I only brush my teeth like once a day.
I'm the same way. I do it twice a day now, but I was always a nighttime brusher and a morning rinser.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my dentist has always been like, "Oh yeah, no, your teeth look pretty good. Slight gum inflammation here and there, but typically I try and like if they tell me like this is a spot where you need to make sure and really get those gums brushed down and stuff like that, and they always tell me I need to floss, and I am notoriously bad at flossing.
Yeah, you gotta just get that habit, right? That's just what. So that's what I did. Is I just started carrying around floss with me. Weird to say, but I did, like, is in a car all the time, and it was just always around me. And so now, like after every meal, not every meal, that's a lie. Definitely after dinner, and always before bed, and sometimes when I wake up in the morning before I rinse my mouth out, because I still don't brush my teeth. When I wake up, I only rinse my mouth out with mouthwash. I don't brush my teeth until after I eat breakfast, which sometimes is until like 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It just depends. But and then I'll floss after I eat anything solid. But if I like have a protein shake or something, why am I gonna fucking floss with that shit? I'll just rinse my mouth out with water.
Yeah, you don't have particles stuck in there at that point. There's not enough.
Probably not. No
substance there.
What I did notice is my gums feel like so much better.
Really?
Yeah. No, it's not even close. Now if I don't floss, I know that there's food in there, and I feel it. I can feel it. So that's just not having food in there. It was gross. As gross as it sounds, and we're talking about some gross shit, because its mouths are gross, like, which is why kissing's gross. Technically, it's fucking nasty, but we still do it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But yeah, kissing is fucking disgusting. It's like the amount of shit that's in your teeth that you're just not paying attention to is a lot. And that's what keeps me like flossing all the time now. It's kind of an obsession, but at the same time, like, man, every time you fucking do anything and you go floss, you're like, oh, I came out of my teeth. Like, I haven't eaten in like 4 or 5 hours, and that was in there. I didn't even know. That was disgusting. And like, it's substantial amount of particles. So like, yeah, but that's neither here nor there. That's just a little fucking dentist talk in the AM. I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit of a PSA for those of you out there that may be thinking, maybe, hey, you know what? I don't need a floss. I don't need to do that shit. Guess what? Yeah, you do.
Welcome to the Eclectic Podcast, the most eclectic podcast on the net, with your hosts Dylan, Rick, and Hans. This podcast is intended for mature audiences. If it happens to offend you, fuck off. Skynet is God.
Oh man! So yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that was fucking AI hack shit.
That was some bullshit. Okay, so you messaged me last night.
January? What? January?
January.
What the fuck am I at, dude?
I'm way off.
So, July 13th.
A day that will live in infamy.
I think, dude, right? Like, this is not since Reagan.
Yeah, I was going to say, you and I have now lived through 2 assassination attempts on presidents.
Yeah. Not since fucking Reagan have we seen this. And both tagged, right? Like Reagan in the belly and then Trump in the ear. Fucking, dude. I mean, everyone would know and knows when this comes out. And listening to us, of course, they know. But like, the presidential candidate for the 47th president of the United States of America was had an assassination attempt on his life last night or yesterday during a rally in PA. That's insane, and I didn't know about it right away. I didn't know about it until maybe pretty quickly, actually, about 15 minutes, because we were actually playing Frosthaven board game.
Okay.
And, we took a break, and so like I went on my phone, and I had a notification from Sony, because they send me notifications like all the fucking time about games I don't give a shit about. But so I went to clear that, and subsequently saw that there was a assassination attempt on Biden, and that's when I found out. So it wasn't too much later, but pretty fucking insane, dude.
Yeah, I was on the way back from Albuquerque, because I was in Albuquerque for a conference most of the day yesterday, and I was on my way back, and Dan tried calling me, and I called him, and I was like, "Hey, dude, let me call you back," because I was dropping off a brother before I was going to go home, and so I called him back, and he's like, "Dude, they just tried to assassinate Trump." And I was like, "No way!" I was like, "Are you serious?" And that hit him in the ear. Like, how many shots were fired? Like, I think there was like 5 to 8 shots fired.
It looks like, just from, I've been looking, like, I mean, I was fucking spending all time looking and trying to find different things. It looks like it was 3 shots from the gunman, and the rest of the shots were from the Secret Service or SWAT. That's what I've gathered. And if you watch the footage and you listen, like, you'll definitely hear the difference in the aggression and also the tone of the shots. So like the first 3 shots, I think, are what went into the crowd. And just a side note, like, someone that didn't, like, Trump didn't get assassinated, but somebody did get fucking tapped.
Yeah.
There was 2 injured and 1 died from one of those bullets.
Yeah, because it was the folks behind Trump, right? Yeah.
The guy, they had to interview a guy who was a physician. Apparently, he was trying to give the guy CPR, and he was like, the guy was just brain matter all over the place.
Ooh.
He got domed. So, like 1 inch to the left, not even an inch. Like, I mean, shit was in his fucking ripped his top of his ear apart. But yeah, I mean, 1 inch to the left, and we have a civil war right now today.
Yeah,
like that's it. Like if Trump died yesterday on that assassination, I guarantee you, there's no doubt in my mind that we're in a civil war. Like there is a war. Like motherfuckers are in the street with guns.
Yeah.
Trucks with guns.
I've had that feeling where going into this campaign or this election, I feel like the Democrats have tried every which way they can to get Trump completely out of the race. They tried with the civil prosecution where he's now a felon. And I felt like I was like, you know what I think would really kind of pop this whole thing off is if they assassinate him. I think that would probably lead to the Civil War.
Yeah, and they didn't. And what you've done now is you've created the 47th president of the United States of America.
Yeah, I have the same feeling. Like it is cemented now. Like he is going to get elected.
After what he did, like when he got shot. And I want to talk about all that and get into it, but just from the outer side looking in, without actually diving into what I was looking at last night and this morning, is he gets shot and then shit's going off, and then you hear the pops, and then you hear stuff that it's good that the guy's down. You hear like Secret Service talking, and then you see Trump stand up, and then they're trying to cover him up, right? And they're doing all these different things, and he's like, no, wait, you wait. And then like you see him, like he puts his fist out, and he's like, at first, like when I first saw him, I thought he was saying like, fuck you, motherfuckers. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
And I don't know if maybe they somehow changed this to say like, because then when I watched it over and over again, he was saying fight. But it didn't look like that the first time I saw it. So I don't know if I saw different footage or if there's some fuckery going on there. But either way, like, and then they start pulling him off, and then he's putting his hand up in there and he's pumping his fist. And he's like, okay, yeah. I don't know of a more iconic fucking, dude, they fucked up, man. I don't know of a more iconic photo than what they got from this dude when he's got blood across his face and his ears all ripped apart, and
surrounded by Secret Service.
Yeah, and he's got his hand up, like I'm okay, and fight. We're okay. Like I'm in this 78-year-old man, billionaire, who, say what you want about him, 78 years old, doesn't have to do a thing. He could be doing whatever the fuck he wants in this world, and this is what he's doing. He's getting shot, and he's saying, no, fight. This ain't, we're fucking in it. And like, it's pretty insane, dude. Like that's some fucking cavalier shit. That's some fucking Teddy Roosevelt shit right there.
Yeah.
And it I don't know of a more iconic poster that's ever going to come out of our generation than what we're about to see with this fucking. It's crazy, dude. The amount of, just to get into this, like I said before, we get into the meat and potatoes of what happened and sort of the things that I've seen and what you've seen, but the amount of support that's come through, the full on support from Elon Musk is huge.
Yeah, that was big.
It's huge, dude, because that dude garners so much respect from everybody, and the fact that he just came out fully and said it, full 100% endorse, and God bless America type shit. It's like today, tomorrow, the next day, the amount of funding that this guy doesn't need that he's gonna get. Like this election is over. They have to keep this dude alive.
Yeah,
that's it.
No, I feel like Melissa was even asking me that last night. She was like, do you feel like he just clinched the election? And I said, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. And then Biden taking, how long did that fucking old douchebag take to respond? This motherfucker is the president of the United States of America, and his opponent just had an assassination attempt against him. And it took, I don't know, how long did it take fucking Biden to get on anything and say anything? Like, you just had an attempt on a political opponent that is potentially the new president of the United States, and you don't even get on and talk about shit for, what was it, over an hour?
Yeah.
Like, it takes you that long for people to get you dressed and to
and that's the thing. They probably had to wake him from his nap.
and feed you your new information on your teleprompter because you can't go out there as a human being and talk from the heart.
Did you see? And I mean, I know this is we're not necessarily directly talking about Biden, but did you see where he was calling Zelensky Putin?
No, but
at the UN, surprising. He was introducing Zelensky and he was introducing him as Putin. It was like, oh my God, man, this guy.
Yeah, I mean, then he called Kamala Trump, Vice President Trump.
And whether he was black vice president, first black vice president or whatever. I was like, what is this guy? Like, and that was the thing. Did you watch any of the debate?
I watched highlights. I'm not sitting through that garbage.
I started to watch it. We were at a birthday party or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay. So I turned on the debate while we were over at some of Melissa's family's house. And I was watching that. And it was just, I was like, what are we watching here? And by no means, and don't get me wrong, like so one of the things with Trump that I have said this, and I know we've talked about him many times on this podcast. I do think that he speaks incredibly off the cusp sometimes and says some shit that I'm just like, dude, that is dumb. But the fact that the mainstream media has never backed him, the fact that now we've got the left, which is always like, oh, you guys are so violent. Now they're trying to assassinate him. I'm like, well, I'm voting for him. That's all there is to it.
Sure.
I mean, I was going to vote for him anyways if I didn't have a good third-party candidate, and I don't see one. Like RFK Jr., I don't know.
No.
I don't like his running mate.
I can't get on board with some of his policies, like his major policies on guns and shit. I can't get on board with it. But like, he would be the candidate I would have picked over Trump should he have had a couple of different ideologies. That's just it.
Yeah.
And like, I listen to that dude talk for more than 5 seconds. Yeah. I'm sorry. Say what you want. It's not his fault. But dude, I can't listen to him talk. It makes me physically ill.
Yeah.
When I hear you talk, it's like, I can't listen to it. It freaks me out.
Yeah. No, it sounds like he's struggling for life every time he speaks, which I know he's not a weak man. Like you can tell he's strong, but it's like that voice is just,
yeah.
But yeah, so now, like the whole thing with Trump, I am 100% on board. I'm going to vote for him. And the fact, like Elon Musk, like I read his biography not too long ago. It's probably been almost a year, but he was at the time he talked about how, you know, his interactions with Trump and how he was just like, this guy he's an idiot. He likes to speak about things that he doesn't know anything about.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the biggest difference with Trump this time as opposed to the first time he was president is that he knows now how the game is played. And I think he's going to do a better job of surrounding himself with people that know how to get things done. And I think that's probably what Trump has always done that was, you know, good for him in business, is that he was able to surround himself with people that were able to get things done.
Sure.
You know,
put the teams in place to help him. Which is what you should do, you know?
Yeah.
And not help. And certain, like Biden's getting his help. Like Biden's just got his nurses and shit helping him out. But
well, do you feel like the Dems have kind of just let Biden off the chain at this point? They're like, whatever, everybody needs to see how bad this guy is now.
Because they're gonna slam someone in there. I don't know who they're gonna put in there. I think it's gonna be a surprise candidate at the last moment. But it doesn't fucking matter now. This shit's over.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter who the fuck you put in there. It does not matter. The confidence levels is gone with those dudes. I have to think that that's what they're doing, right? It's that they're shitting on Biden now so hard because the inside track, as they've been told on all the news outlets have been told, like you report that he is going crazy and we want your guys to do this and that. And of course they're going to do it at the managerial level. And then it just follows suit, right? They're just puppets. The media just does whatever they're told to. So it doesn't matter. They may not necessarily want to trash Biden, but they're going to just be like, well, today's news story is this, and we're going to talk about how he was this. And it's a complete shift. And I think it's because the only reason I think it is they have to have another candidate that they're going to fucking flop on there on the 11th hour and just be like, this is your savior. This is who's come in. I'm coming in to step in because I think this is right. And I want to, you know, that's the only thing I can think of. Right.
Yeah. One of the things that I think is kind of interesting, because I don't know this stuff and I could be completely wrong and speaking out of turn when I say this. the thing that I find interesting with that is that I've been told that because he is the current president and Kamala is the vice, they carry the donation money. All the money that has been received is tied to those two. So no matter what happens, even if if Biden drops out, whatever the case may be, they have to keep Kamala in there because she's tied in with those funds.
Yeah, but
she's less popular than Trump, or not than Trump, than Biden.
I was gonna say not even close to, but yeah, she's ahead of Biden for the first time, and she's always been lower. But like, of course, because he can't even make a sentence without stumbling. So like, of course, she's gonna be ahead, and she's not much better. She's a big dummy, dude. I don't know how we elected these two numbskulls in there, but we did. I don't know.
Yeah,
I actually I don't think we did. But that's a whole other story. So you said something that sparked my interest, and also one of my friends, Randy, he sent me something that I was looking at when you were talking about the violence on one side, assassination attempt. So check this out. This is from World Statistics Stats, just stats feed. I don't know, just off of X probably. To list the presidential assassination attempts throughout history. 1865, Abraham Lincoln, Republican. 1881, James A. Garfield, Republican. 1901, William McKinley, Republican. 1963, JFK, Democrat. And my thoughts on that with the CIA and shit. But yeah, and then presidents wounded in assassination attempts. Theodore Roosevelt, 1912, Republican. Ronald Reagan, 1981, Republican. Donald Trump, 2024, Republican. So out of all the assassination attempts, out of all the actual assassinations, only one of those throughout the history of the United States of America has been a Democrat. And that Democrat was a problematic Democrat for a lot of other people. And we can talk about the whole CIA thing we have ad nauseum on our podcast, but with JFK. So what does that tell you about one side being violent versus the other?
Right. Yeah. When you look at that throughout history and you see that it's always been the Republican candidates, except for one, was the ones that have been attempted to be killed.
Yeah. And the Republican Party was not the originator of the KKK. That was the Democratic Party. Mm-hmm. I've never been a Democrat. I've never subscribed to Democrat stuff. They have ideas, but those ideas come from libertarians, and those ideas come from independents, and they just use those ideas. I think Democratic Party is a terrorist party. I've always said this. Democratic Party was put in place to be a direct terrorist attack to the Republican Party. And the Republican Party, I'm not saying is great. Everyone has their faults, but the Democratic Party is specifically, I think, was specifically put in place to dismantle America. And it's still doing that today. And you can challenge me, anybody can challenge me, and we can talk about shit that I don't know. And I can spew off at the mouth of shit that I may or may not have read on this site versus this site. But you're not going to sit here and tell me after looking at all this shit that there isn't something fishy going on with this fucking political movement since the inception of America. It's just always been there to be a crazy opponent to Republican, which is weird to me, but it is what it is, right?
Well, and so from my conspiratorial aspect, without trying to go too deep into it, like kind of what you're talking about, is that I've always felt like the Democrats and the Republicans, like you always hear the story like it's a two-headed beast, or that it's a bird with two wings, and whether you got the left wing or the right wing, it's still the same animal. But the thing that I think has always been interesting to me about the Democrats is that it seems like they have a faster path to total government control than what the Republicans were trying to do. Like Republicans, maybe they've tried to retain some of that smaller government, because that always used to be like the big thing with the Republicans. And it's kind of weird how we're seeing this shift currently now. The Republicans were always, like when we were kids, Republicans were always considered the big corporation backers, like capitalist rich people. That has completely changed now. And the Democrats don't even seem to realize this, because the Democrats are always like, oh, well, we're looking for equality of the people. The biggest backers of the Democratic Party are big tech companies.
big tech and big influential leaders. So your stars and shit who are all super rich and super left.
Yeah. So I mean, when we were kids, that's what I was always told was that, well, how could you be Republican? Republican represents big business and all these big corporate cronies. And it's like, no, if you look at it now, that's the Democrats.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are being supported by these big tech. And I mean, the only one that's come out against it, like publicly, the big tech companies, is Elon Musk.
That's true.
Which is nuts to me.
That is nuts.
I don't know. Well, I feel like they're both horrible groups, but
for sure, because they're groups, and groups when they get together, they like to. It's just like a corporation. That's all they are. They're just a corporation.
Yeah,
and they want to stay in business and they want to make money, and so you have to have someone in there who's going to toe the line, and then say what you will, but when someone doesn't toe the line. I just read this assassination attempts and actual assassinations on presidents, and look at those people who aren't towing the line. All of them had issues that were pushing the fucking status quo.
Yeah.
All of them, every single one of them, and one of them had to be a Democrat, and that's the only one. But he was a fucking major threat, and the CIA knew that, and I think the CIA and the FBI know that now, and they knew that was Reagan. Anytime someone comes up against, fucking Christ, man. With Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, and everyone's like, yeah, he's a true Democrat. Fucking not a Democrat, idiots. And everyone thinks that he was a Democrat. He's a Republican.
Yeah.
And then he got assassinated. Why did he get assassinated? For freeing the slaves? I don't know. That seems like maybe an idea that people should look at.
Well,
I'm not 100%, but
it was affecting that pocketbook, right? Like, I mean, and I've never understood why, and I really want to sit down and obviously, like, I surround myself with people that are kind of more like-minded with me, right? I do have friends like on Facebook, and I'd call them more acquaintances than actual friends.
Yeah.
But I want to know why they want to give the government so much control.
Right.
I've never understood that. That has never worked well throughout history.
No.
And that's really what the Democrats seem to push, is that we'll take care of you. Like, that's really what I always seem like I feel from the Democratic Party, is that you'll be taken care of.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to think about that. And like I said, like Trump, he's not even necessarily a Republican, because he was on the Democratic side. Like, he was a donation guy for a long time on that side. I think he's like Elon Musk. Like, all these people are getting sick of the bullshit that's coming out.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know who knows what he wants, but it feels like he just wants what's right and what's best, like, in terms of this country. Like, you can't tell me the guy doesn't like the country. You could say, well, he's got a power trip. I mean, what? Maybe, but he doesn't have to be doing anything.
Well, then what political figure doesn't have a power trip, especially when they're a political figure at that level?
Of course, and let's be honest, like, he wasn't a political figure until he ran for president. He was the face of the #1 show in America as The Apprentice at the time.
Yeah.
So, like, just the #1 rated TV star in America, and he's like, yeah, well, just I'm gonna run for president, and now I'll be political, and now I'll do that. And so it's like, okay, he wasn't a lifelong power guy, but he was a power guy in other aspects. So I mean, you have to have that air about you. That's just the nature of the business, right?
Yeah.
You can't go on there and be a Biden. Like, that's Biden's the weirdest example. Like, and Kamala, like, they're not power people. They're dummies. I don't know. I don't want to just defame them because I don't know them personally, and they're probably wonderful people, like, to their family. I don't know them, but it just, on the outside looking in, boy, it doesn't inspire confidence like someone getting shot and then raising their fist and telling you to fight. Like, that raises confidence, and call me whatever you will, call me a meathead or whatever. But anybody that sees that and doesn't get a little bit choked up about, like, at least angry, then I think you're in the wrong business. Like, you should literally just move, go to Venezuela, go to Mexico, go to Canada, go to all these places, and then complain about that shit, and then get shut down because you complain, because there's no freedom of speech in those places.
Yeah. What? And, one of the things, too, that, you're saying that, and I'm wondering about now, like, if it comes out that the shooter is part of Antifa, are they going to be labeled as a terrorist organization? Because I don't think they currently are.
Yeah, that's what they're thinking, too, right? That's what I keep seeing is the guy has posted videos with his black mask and his glasses and shit, like the Antifa style, like before he posted before he shot.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what I want to get into. It was a good segue on your part, whether you knew it or not. But this is kind of where I want to get into that, a little bit about that shooter. Not really his persona per se, but just sort of the outskirts. I'd like to hear kind of what you think about some of these ideas, if you don't mind me spitting them at you.
Yeah, go for it.
So, where do I start to make the most sense out of this? The first one is... let's see here. I'm trying to see if there's somewhere I can start with this. Okay, so you have video. Well, yeah, we'll start here. There's video from people who are media. It's someone on their phone, right? And they're standing in front of this building, and this is the building that the shooter was on top of. And you hear this guy yelling, like, this guy has a gun. This guy has a gun. There's a shooter. There's a shooter. This guy has a gun, like yelling at police. And then 10, 15 seconds later, then the shots are fired.
Yeah.
So someone yelling, there's a gun. There's a gun. Someone's shooting. There's a gun. Like someone's going to shoot. There's an active shooter. I can't remember exactly what it says, but you could just look it up. It's I don't know if you've seen it or not, but, and nothing's done. And in 10 seconds, if someone says, and you're the Secret Service, and someone says, gun, active shooter, I think immediately, regardless of what's going on, is you immediately have to do your job.
Yeah.
Immediately. And they heard it. How did you not hear? There's police all around. The building's right there. Like, I don't understand how people didn't hear this. And so that's one thing. And before I get your thoughts on this, I'm going to switch to this other thing, and I'm going to put them together. So there's another video of a cell phone where it's from head on, and you're seeing Trump, and the guy's filming Trump. But ahead of Trump, on his left, is a sniper, and he's a police sniper. He's probably SWAT, and he's sitting on the roof in a kneeling position, focused in on his scope, and it just so happens that he's focused in the exact direction that the bullets are coming from.
Yeah.
So this is before the bullets are being shot, right? These guys just talking, Trump's just talking, and he's pointing, and he's like, hey, look, this is, and then Biden got in office, and look, the points here. I can't remember the exact speech that he was saying right before it, but then you see Trump, you kind of hear the bullets, and then you see Trump grab his ear and start to go down, and then you see the guy, the sniper up top, raise his head off of the sniper rifle, off the scope, and look, and then go back down, and then you start hearing firing. So my quick thoughts are that why wasn't things done in the first video? Why weren't things done immediately to be like, hey, even a commotion to make the shooter like not have a good shot and just, well, okay, I got to get this off, and then just start shooting. At least that's a better shot than to have him try to be set up. At least make a commotion about it. And then two, what was that sniper doing? Clearly he was in the line of sight of that guy. Was he just scoped? What was he scoped into? What was he looking at this whole fucking time when he's literally pointing at thing? And then we had the 3 shots, and then he reacts. So I don't know what he was looking at, and I don't know his affiliations. There's been some things said about that guy, and who knows, but like he has a spotter there too. So what's the spotter looking at as well? And why are they so trained in on this one spot? And then 15 to 20 seconds later, you see the shots go off, and then the guy reacts after the fact. So I don't know. Very strange. I'll get your thoughts on those two, if you've seen those videos and kind of what you think.
So, and I haven't seen the videos, but there's a couple things that I kind of want to piggyback off of that too. And I hate to go down. It's so hard to tell, especially so soon after an event that takes place, like to understand everything that was going on. But going back to what you're saying, like I keep on seeing the picture of the snipers, right? The ones that we have, like the SWAT officers up on top of that building. a couple questions come to mind. Number one, and I was telling Melissa this last night, my interactions with Secret Service are very limited in the fact that when Dan Quayle, I don't know if we've talked about this before. I'm sure we have on the podcast before. When Dan Quayle was in Farmington when I was a kid, we were up on stage behind him, popping balloons that were behind him on the stage, and Secret Service was on our ass like crazy, right? Like, you guys got to stop popping these balloons, and they started evicting kids off the stage because it was just, no, we can't deal with this.
Sure.
And I remember the amount of security at that time, like it seemed like it wasn't there, but at the same time you knew it was. Mm-hmm. I would feel, number one, I would feel that the Secret Service should have been, why didn't they have security on top of every building around there? Which is one thing. The other part of that, though, too, like what you were saying, the pictures that I've seen of those SWAT teams that were up on top of that one roof, they obviously were positioned there. That wasn't something that happened. Like, they didn't get up there whenever the shots started getting fired. They were up there previously. And you're right. They didn't turn. Wherever they were at, they were already trained on that area, or at least pretty close to it. So the other thing that I want to add to that, I mean, take from that what you will. I don't know why there was such a delay in the reaction, but the other thing that I've heard, and I don't know how substantiated this is or not, is that the Secret Service has been requesting additional security for Trump for a while now, and Biden's Homeland Security Office keeps on denying it. So was it planned?
I mean, they denied RFKs.
Yeah.
And look at his dad and his brother.
Yeah.
Both assassinated. You'd think maybe you got to get this guy some fucking protection as a political candidate.
Yeah. And as to whether or not, like I say, I mean, I don't want to sit here and say that, although, I mean, you can sit there and say there's a lot of things that are going on that seem really obvious with the Dems and Trump. Like when you talk about that time after the Trump got convicted of those felonies, which I think are BS anyways. You see that they ask Biden that question and he stops and gives kind of that weird smirk. I think everybody's seen the video. Like there's no way that everything that is going against Trump now has not been politically motivated. And I felt like once the felony charges didn't hurt his campaign polls or anything like that, I felt like we were going to go to assassination type attempts.
Yeah.
And look at what happened. So, yeah, I don't want to say that the Dems are planning this or allowing this to happen, but it does seem really fishy.
Sure. With Secret Service in the military, I came across a few issues, a few things. So we had at the current time General Reimer, with Dennis Reimer. He was the chief of staff of the Army. So it's like kind of like not really a general of the Army because that's a 5-star, but he was a 4-star general, right? And he came to our. I can't really get into it because it's a whole bunch of fucking acronyms and a whole bunch of bullshit that nobody cares about. Essentially, where I was working at in the military, he showed up, and it's a small building where we were. So a week prior to him showing up, we had Secret Service came in, and we had to pretend they weren't there, and there was just going to be dudes walking around in suits. And what they did is they went through and they combed through the area. They found all the nooks and crannies. They went across the building. They went up on the other buildings. They went everywhere they could. And then, like 3 days prior, they came back and they had us evacuate the building. And they told us where to go. They told us if you're given the go, this is where you're going to be heading. This is what you're going to be doing. And then the day of, an hour prior to them to the general showing up, the Secret Service came again. And they posted up everywhere, all over the fucking place, everywhere. So that was for a 4-star general, who was very important, right?
Right.
But that was afforded to this guy, the Secret Service, for a former president and potential president once again. So a presidential candidate for the second time. You're telling me, and the building was the only building that someone could be on, and nobody was on it. Nobody was covering that building.
Yeah.
No Secret Service, no SWAT, nothing. There's reports showing. Yeah, my mouth is dry. There's some reports showing people saying that they saw the guy crawling across the roof, and they were yelling to the cops that there's someone crawling on the roof, and nothing was done about it. And not until the guy got closer and then people saw this gun, the guy that had a gun, they started yelling at the cops, and still nothing happened. Of course, the shots. So you're telling me that this motherfucker, with all these SWAT teams around and with all the so-called fucking protection team, you know, I don't know if they're Secret Service, that means they are placed there by government, so government officials placed them there. And same with the cops, they're selected for their SWAT teams were selected to be put there. To tell me out of all the recon, nobody decided, you know what, this is a crazy spot, and like if I was a sniper, this would be an easy spot to be in and just shoot someone.
Yeah.
They just decided to not even survey the building. There was no one on that building. Why wasn't there a Secret Service agent on that building?
Yeah.
Why wasn't there a SWAT person on that building? That building is the only building that someone could have been sniping through, according to what I've seen and the reports. And I'm not going to quote anybody, just search in the internet, and I could be wrong because, of course, you know, information is precious, and I don't have all the pieces of the puzzle. But it seems to me, knowing small things about what I know about security and doing security detail, which I've done before, a lot of times, that you have to pretend at all times that somebody is going to be shooting or going to be harming your target. At all times, you have to pretend. So that way, when it does happen, you are ready and you know. Which leads into my next thing. So I'm sure you saw the video of the shooting, right?
Yeah, well, I saw the one angle of Trump on stage when he's talking, and you hear the shots ring out, and then you see him go down, and then you hear the people screaming.
Okay, so that one, if you listen closely, you'll hear the one female, and I'm not saying this is because she's female, I'm just stating because she's female. That's my only point, is that she is a female, just so we're clear. This female who was a Secret Service agent, you hear her, and it's so fucking frustrating to me to hear this, but she's saying, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? You can hear her like 3 or 4 times. She's saying, what do we do? What do we do? I'm sorry. You know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
You know 100% what to do. That's why you were fucking there. That's why that is your job, to know what to do. Your job is to know the plan. If the president gets shot at, you already have a plan put in place. So that tells me that either she shouldn't be in that position because she freaked out and she spazzed. Oh, what do we do? Oh my God, what do we do? What do we do? I've seen that. I've been in combat and I've fucking seen this happen. I've seen this happen from people you wouldn't think. That, you know, long story short, I've seen it happen where shit goes down and people turn into fucking dummies and they don't know what to do. They just turn into stupids. And they're there and they shouldn't fucking be there. That's the same that I saw when I heard that shit. She shouldn't fucking be there. And it could have been a dude saying that, and I would have said the same thing.
Yeah.
The point is, I heard it, I saw it, and then you see the same chick up there trying to carry Trump and trying to hold Trump. Get the fuck out of here. I don't give a shit about this, man. If she could do it, great. She can't do it, clearly. She can't pick the dude up, and you got all these other people out there trying to guard him, but he's fucking 4 fucking feet taller than she is,
and so she's like in front.
And she's in fucking front, and there's a perfect shot. Like if someone else was there, if there was another shooter or someone in the crowd in the backside, they could have been like, "Oh, dude, it's so easy, just boom." It's not her fucking fault. It's the idiots that put her there, thinking that she could do the fucking job. That's their fault. That's their fault.
Yeah.
And it would be nothing if it went down and there was nothing said that we could hear on the mics, because they have fucking earpieces and they shouldn't be yelling, for one. There's no reason to yell. Zero. If you're yelling and you're freaking out, it's because you know what the fuck you're doing.
Right.
You're not trained. You need to have training to understand this. You don't need to yell. You execute the fucking plan, and you fucking complete the mission. That's all you do. Execute the plan, complete the mission. If something goes haywire in between all that shit, then yeah, you're gonna have to fucking
deal with whatever comes up. Yeah. Sure. Well, and that's the crazy thing to me, is that it was so, and maybe I'm completely wrong on this, and I do want to ask your opinion on this, since you were in security. and you've done security detail type stuff. I'm not talking about security like mall cop security. I'm talking military security.
Oh, Bart.
But so the thing that I found shocking too was they kept him on stage. Was that just because they didn't know where shots were coming from, which I don't believe? Like, why would they keep him on stage? It seems like you would get him off that stage as quickly as possible.
Immediately, and by force.
Yeah.
That man would have no control where he was going. He would have been grabbed by force and covered by force and moved. And he knows that. He's aware of that. That's what happens. Is you are, when that happens and you're security detail, you're not like, it's not the movies where you're like, sir, we need to get you on your feet. We need to get you moving. But there's none of that. They're going to come in and they're going to say, sir, we're picking you up and we're moving you. And that's it. That's all you're going to fucking get. You're not going to get, hold on, let me wait. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
And Trump, you hear Trump saying it. It's like, hold on, wait. And because he wanted to fucking make a message and point to people and say, look, you're not going to do that. And I appreciate that. However, that would have never fucking happened had this fucking security detail actually done their damn job. That dude would have been fucking, as soon as he dropped to the ground, they would have been on top of him, and then they would have drug him out. He wouldn't have been allowed to stand up. They had to assess whether he was fucking blown away, right?
Yeah.
They had to assess whether he was still alive. As soon as they saw that he was conscious and he was still alive and that the bullet fucking hit his ear, even if it went in, you're grabbing the guy and he's out of there. It is the dumbest shit. The only time you wouldn't move him is if he clearly had like a gaping fucking hole in his head, then he's dead. Like you're not just, that's it. He should have been covered, and it should have been done low, and should have been taken off and immediately put in, and all that stuff is worked out prior. All that stuff is worked out a week prior. All that stuff.
Yeah.
And then even the day of, it's all worked out. So what that tells me is there was no fucking plan. There was no plan to recon. There was no plan for exfil. There's no plan for infill either. They clearly didn't fucking have their exits blocked off, and they clearly couldn't stop an armed person with fucking gear from climbing into the area, getting on a roof, crawling, and then meanwhile regular Joe smoking a cigarette and drinking a Pepsi is like, there's the fuck dude, the gun crawling on this building, guys. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? These are the people that are supposed to, that just tells me there's a whole big breakdown. Either it's a whole big breakdown and they didn't take it seriously, and Trump's like, I don't need this protection, I just need these guys for show. They don't really do anything, and we're going to hire SWAT, but SWAT, they're actually not going to do anything. They're not even actually there. They don't have bullets or what. I don't know. Or the more likely scenario is what you said, and I agree, is that it's probably not. Let's just put it out there. I don't want to be fucking Alex Jones 100%. Like, I know this for a fact, even though Alex Jones is fucking shockingly correct a
lot of times. Shit.
Yeah. There's something going on, and it stems from the Democrats, and it feels very much like this is the elevation, and it just, everything keeps pointing to, like, to this. And the thing is like, I don't want to say they needed a patsy or a fall guy, because if they were expecting, let's just say this is true, and that this was an assassination attempt, and it was implemented by, the opposing political party, we'll say the Democrats, somebody in the powers that be were like, yeah, this is what we're doing, and we're going to put this down, and then it came down the line, and then boom, we're executing the plan. Now, they got the most incompetent motherfucker ever, right? He had a free shot, 3 free shots, and he didn't do his job. So what that tells me is he wasn't a professional.
Yeah.
So, was he a patsy? Did they think that was going to work out? And we know for a fact, and this has happened before. Where the government stepped in, and how many years ago was it? Only that long ago, where these people, the FBI were coercing people into
to doing these types of things. doing terrorist type organizations. Yeah, no. The FBI and those types of guys. And I think the tobacco firearms, the TFA, is that what it is? Like they are notorious. Typically, when you have a fringe group and you have somebody that comes into the group that you may not know, all of a sudden they're the ones telling you, you know what, we should do this. That's usually a government agent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're usually the ones that are kind of egging it on.
Yeah. And so you have all this, right? And so if that's the case, then they were hoping that this dude was going to get the job done because that was the guy you can get. And he had relations potentially to Antifa, which is perfect because what they can do in one fatal swoop is put Antifa on the back burner. So that way their political side can be like, yeah, we're against Antifa. And then what is that going to do? It's going to get you voters on another side saying, well, they're actually trying to do something, get these guys that we hate. And on top of that, they're taking out a political opponent who was in the lead.
Yeah.
Like he's primed to take the spot. So I don't know, man. And then on the other side, like if it just shows if that's the case, it shows also another level of incompetency on the part of this administration. They can't even hire professionals to do jobs, right? Or is it purposefully? And I'm seeing shit on Twitter like the Trump shooting was staged. That shit right there pisses me off, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you mean staged? Are you telling me that Donald Trump's like, hey, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go in here in front of this crowd, and then I want someone to shoot my ear.
And kill somebody behind me.
Is that what you're telling me? That if people who say that, they don't understand how bullets work. They don't understand how extremely hard it is to shoot a fucking weapon. It is extremely difficult. And especially if you're shooting a rifle from a distance with the scope. Like ask any hunter, ask any sniper, anybody who shoots for game or shoots for sport, anybody who's in the military or otherwise, SWAT teams, how hard it is to shoot a weapon. Like it's very difficult. You can't just shoot a weapon and it goes where you point it.
Right. Yeah. The accuracy, like there's a lot of stuff that goes into that, from your pulse to your breathing, like all that stuff affects that.
Wind does, your azimuth shootings, everything, the curvature of the earth, if it's far enough away, all that shit plays into it. So just someone out there with a gun is gonna be like, I'm gonna point and shoot. Yeah, you're not gonna hit what you think you're gonna hit. You might by happenstance. But so this fucking news about the Trump staging this so that way he can get votes, that shit's fucking crazy. And yeah. I'm not on Twitter, but Randy informed me, he's on there on X, I guess. And he informed me that there is so many people stating that they wish the bullet was an inch to the left. That we don't have to do this. So what you're telling me in this day and age is what we're doing is we're calling for a hoax on something where people are dying, and it's good. They want it to happen. Yet if a mass shooting or a shooting and it just happened not long ago, was it last week, 2 weeks ago, we had another fucking 3-person shooter. It was a black dude's time. I don't remember where the fuck it was at. Just so much shit going on, I forget stuff. But you have all these fucking shootings all the time, and people are up in arms about getting rid of guns. But then the one time it goes against, and you see Trump getting fucking shot. It isn't all we need to get rid of the guns. Like they're some motherfuckers are saying that we wish the bullet was what it went 3 inches to the left.
Yeah. Well, and you know what's funny though is like it goes back to you brought up Alex Jones earlier. Whenever the Sandy Hook and the shootings that happened there, and he said it was a kind of a false flag attack, and that stuff didn't happen. I mean, now you've got people that are on the left saying the same thing that everybody was against Alex Jones for.
Yeah.
And it's just like, really, like this is, somebody died, number one. And by no means did I ever support Alex Jones when he was talking crazy about that stuff. And I will say this, like, maybe it is possible that there were false flag stuff that was going on where, and I'm not saying the American government is against or above sacrificing a few of its own just to kind of get some of their motives done.
Sure.
I'm not saying that at all, but Well, maybe I am. But I don't. I think honestly, this was not staged by Trump. I really don't think so.
Dude, there's no way. There's no way. They actually have you seen they have other footage that the bullet was actually caught? Like you can see
in the picture? Yeah.
Yeah. The fucking photo frame was just right to where you can actually see the stream of the bullet outside past him.
Yep.
It's crazy. If you're thinking for 1 second that it was staged, you watch too much fucking television, and I would challenge anybody who says that to go to a firing range and have a marksman, someone who fires a lot and who's earned accolades in the shooting world, whatever that may be, whether they are a skeet shooter or whether they are a actual hunter or they literally are a sports person and they shoot for money. So take one of those guys. I want you to go downrange, and I want you to tell them, I want you to shoot just to the right of my ear. Mm-hmm. I don't want you to kill me, but just shoot to the right of my ear. Stand there and hope and hope and hope.
God.
One professional is going to have everything going right, and the wind doesn't gust at the last moment, and that something crazy doesn't happen, and then just stand there. People are stupid. People are fucking stupid, and it's actually gross.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like, why would you want someone to die? Like, okay, if someone fucks your kid, yeah, I would want that guy to die.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the problem: people think Donald Trump fucked their kids, like not realistically, but people think that all the rhetoric and all the hate and the shit that's been spewed about this guy over the last fucking 8 years, 8 years. People actually think this dude is a killer. They actually think he's Nazi, even though we already had his presidency and things were fine. Yeah. Like we didn't die.
We didn't die. People act like him getting elected. The first time they acted like him getting elected was going to be an existential crisis. Him getting elected a second time is not going to be an existential crisis. No. My only fear, this is the only thing that I have hesitation for Trump right now getting into the presidency. I do not want him to become vengeance as a president. I'm really work on the United States. Don't focus on revenge against your enemies.
Yeah, and I hope. We'll see. We'll see we'll see how shit plays out. But I'm with you on that. It's crazy. To China, this is infamous, dude. This is something that in a lifetime people don't see. We've seen two of them, even though we were kids when the first one happened. But this one, we're fucking full blown old fucks, and we're like, we can see this shit, and it's fucking insane, dude.
Yeah,
it's insane that we're at this level. We're here, and we still got many months to go before election, and even that after election, I don't know. This is a scary time. To try to cap this shit off in a weird way, I guess. I want to talk about some of the shit we had talked about before, but Randy sent me some stuff. Again, I'm not on X or anything, but Randy sent me some stuff that I told him I'd talk about on the podcast. This is from Conor McGregor. A 78-year-old billionaire. He should be on a yacht in the Mediterranean touring golf courses, but he's not. He's in Pennsylvania spitting out bullets. Running for the love of his country. Godspeed, Donald. God bless the United States. So to me, that's pretty nuts, dude. Right? This is a dude, and I know it's a Conor McGregor, and let me say whatever, but this is a man from a different country who's very proud of his country.
Yeah, well, and there's been a lot of outpouring of support even from other government leaders from across the world to Trump from this.
Sure, because they see this is fucking real. You're being they could be assassinated. It's fucking crazy. And then another one, which I thought is, if I could find it, this is from 50 Cent, and it's got the picture of. It's got the picture of Trump right with the flag, and then there's his fist right after, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I know the vibes. We are all in trouble now.
Yeah.
From 50 being shot and saying, what you could take what you want to take from that maybe is being I know the vibes. I've been shot, and I know how I felt when I got out.
Yeah.
So how he's gonna feel, and he's saying we are all in trouble now. I don't know if that means like he's, because he is. I don't know if he's part of the Eminem camp or the whole extreme fucking hate Trump camp. I don't know 50's political view set, but I just like that tweet. He's like, I know the vibes. Like, yeah, I mean, you would. But I just want to kind of cap that off a bit. I'd like to hear your final thoughts on it before we kind of move on and talk about a little something more jovial.
I do think that I gave you my concern now with Trump, and I had the concern prior to the conviction from the felony. I really just I feel like he's probably going to definitely be emblazoned on this. If he had any wavering, and I think that's the big thing, right? Is at this point now, if he was fake in this whole thing, like and I'm not talking about the assassination attempt itself, but if he was not legitimately have a love and a care for the United States, this would push him out of the race for sure.
Oh,
he'd be like, this is too much. I can't. No. But if he comes back and he's more emblazoned than ever and emboldened than ever before, and that's where I'm like, he just clinched the election.
Yeah.
And I want to see the mass media, mainstream media. I can't say mass media, but the mainstream media. If it turns out the shooter was from Antifa, if they see that kind of thing and they know for sure, they need to label that as a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
And they need to call it an assassination attempt. I've been hearing that a lot of the mainstream media has not been wanting to call it an assassination attempt.
That's fucking insane, dude.
Words have power, and if they use the incorrect words, then they're not giving the due power to those words that need to be said.
I think so.
So that's kind of my thing. So, yeah.
So
fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, in the same vein as that. So, Shadowheart and Lae'zel, they're kind of shitty at each other, right?
So, yeah, Shadowheart. Like I'm starting to get kind of an idea for. So, and here's the thing, right? I've put about 6 hours into the game so far.
Okay.
And I am
substantial.
Well, but it is such a pain in the ass to progress anywhere. Like I've got into the goblin camp.
Yeah.
I got rid of the priestess 'cause she was easy enough.
Boot. Yeah.
And then I've been trying like the elvish soldier, whatever she is. You know?
Oh, the drow. Yeah, Minthara.
Yeah. Like she's really cool. Like, and I'd like to have her in my party, but she's like very evil. And I don't know how to, like, I've tried to fight her several times.
I can, if you want help, I'll tell you how to do it.
Well, and I've been told one way to do it with a bridge. Not trying to spoil for anybody, but I can't do it fast enough.
I mean, let's like Chris is listening. I don't think anyone is going to be spoiled. You don't have to spoil it. I can tell you how to take a moral high ground and be able to hang out with her later.
Uh-huh.
I can tell you how. I do it constantly. If it depends on how I'm playing through, but yeah, I can tell you how if you want. It's not going to be a spoiler. It's just kind of a thing you could do.
Yeah.
If you want. Okay, so
down.
When you go into that fight, turn your passive on so you don't do lethal blows.
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Turn your passive on, and the passive only works in melee, and don't use magic. So you need to do melee only. If you do ranged, it will kill her. So what you want to do is just jump into that fight, and don't worry about how are you set up? Are you set up to where she's the only one there? Have you killed the other small bosses that hang around her?
No.
So there's still the like I think there's two guys.
Yeah,
her.
2 or 3 around her.
And
2. I think it's just 2 because I think there's one right next to her talking, and I think there's one on the other side of the bridge with the orb, the eye.
Yeah, the scrying
eye. Yeah.
Okay. Fuck those things too. Just a quick word of advice on those things. If you do any act in front of those things, it'll alert everything around. So, yeah, just be aware. If it doesn't see you, you're good. But if you get alerted, but if that thing sees you crouching or stealing or anything, it'll alert all the guards in the entire area. Sucks ass. But if it doesn't see you, you can just attack it from behind and it'll never alert anything. And that's even before it gives the alert off. It automatically, because it's like watching you, and the absolute tells everybody. Long story short, whatever. So just turn your passive on. Have you been able to kill her?
No, I have not been able to kill her at all. Like, I can't do the damage. Like, I feel like I need to severely level up before I try and do that fight.
How many people are in your party?
4.
So you have the 4 people. What level are you?
3 or 4, maybe 5.
If you're 5, you should definitely be able to defeat her.
I think I may be 3 or 4.
The thing with her is that she's going to heal. She heals a lot, so you need to stop her from healing. So you can do that a few different ways, right? You can use Bone Chill. Do you have a mage in your party or a wizard?
Yeah, well, I've got a mage. Or that one guy, the guy that eats the magic objects or whatever.
Gale? Yeah, okay. So Gale's a wizard, and Gale can learn Bone Chill. And at your level, you should have Bone Chill. You just have to go to your spell book and make sure that it's applied and put it in your spell casting bar. Use Bone Chill on her so she can't heal. So that's the number one thing, because she heals like crazy. And she also hits like a fucking truck. And she hits multiple times because of her class. She's a paladin. So she's similar to you. So she'll use her smite spells on you as well. That's why she hits so fucking hard. So what you want to do is stop her from healing, and then you can silence her if you have a silent spell or a silent scroll, which is always a good thing to do. Or when you walk into to that area, okay, there's a big pit with the spiders in it.
Mm-hmm.
So just to the right of that, when you walk into the area, there's a ladder you can crawl up. There's a chest up there.
Yeah.
So just, you want to do you have a sniper with you, or a guy you basically use for arrows? Shit.
Yeah, I've got I don't know. He looks like a vampire guy.
Astarion. Okay, yeah, he's good for that, because his passive immediately is good for archery. So you want to use him up there, and so if you hide with him up there, she shouldn't directly see him, which means when she gets close, you can do a surprise attack on her, which is you always want to do. With Gale, you also, I don't know how you're playing this, but with Gale, you should also have an illusion spell, which you can cast, and it will bring her to you. And as soon as she's coming to you, then you can surprise her attack with the Starion up top. And then as soon as she's surprised, then you can come with Gale to do Bone Chill, which will stop her from healing. And you just keep peppering her with the Starion from up top, and use your Paladin smites to take her out. You can use different things to try to figure out how you want to do it, but it's just going to be trial and error, dude. But those are the things you're going to need, and you're just going to have to figure it out. If you're finding it's too much, then just go do something else and come back.
Yeah, I kind of decided, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a break from this, and I went to go see. Well, then I ended up going to the cabin where Auntie Edna, or whatever that thing was, the hag. Ethel. Yeah. I came across that, and I'm like, well, shit, I don't know if I can't handle the goblin camp. Can I handle that one?
No, you can't. She should be one of the last 2 things you do in Act 1.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, she's a pain in the asshole. You need to be more versed with your characters before you go, because you're going to have to use all kinds of different abilities the first couple times you play her. Like, I know how to beat her like in like the first turn now. It's just because I played it a bunch. But she's a pain in the ass. She's tough. But if you can play a couple different ways with that one. When you get to her, I'll let you know. But she can give you a permanent buff too, like for the rest of the game, that you can have increased if you do certain things depending on how you're going to play.
Yeah.
And your persuasion checks and shit. But yeah, with Minthara, definitely you want someone up top, peppering her. And I'm sure you're a paladin. And if you have Shadowheart, do you have her as cleric?
Yes.
So she should have heals. Are you using her as a healer, or does she have bless and all that shit too?
No, I think she's kind of also another one that I'm using as kind of a fighter type character.
Yeah, if she's a cleric, she's a life cleric by nature, I think. If not, then you should probably respec her into life cleric.
Okay.
Because they're the most tanky, and they're going to give you heal and bless. So if you just slap bless, you actually probably have bless on your character too because you're a paladin. But yeah, you want to make sure before you go in that you're blessed, so that way you have a higher armor score. So that way she can't hit you. That's huge. And if you have a scroll of blur or something like that, I would throw that on. And scroll of blur is all over the fucking place. I think Roa Moonglow has it right there in the Goblin camp, the little midget chick. And then and I think you can get one from the Grove as well. But
yeah, I so like, okay, so Minthara, like, that's her name, right?
Yeah.
So the time that I tried to do the bridge trick where I just dropped her into the bridge, but then I was like, I don't know if I want to try and keep her in the party or not. All of a sudden I became Oathbreaker.
Yeah, you'll do that because you murdered someone.
And well, no, I didn't murder her because I didn't pull it off, but it was me talking to her and telling her that, oh yeah, no, I'll tell you exactly where it is. I became Oathbreaker. So then all of a sudden I got visited by this creepy looking thing that was like, yeah, you broke your oath.
Yeah, that was nice.
I'm gonna come visit you later. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. If you, as a paladin, if you do any deceptions, you will become an Oathbreaker.
Okay.
Just wait. But however, Oathbreaker is the best paladin if you want to go that route. Like, it's the strongest paladin. But you no longer have access to certain things, but you will gain access to certain other things, which are more on the darker side. So you have like a little bit of a darker sort of smite. But you're allowed to play the game like however you want, like chaotic.
Yeah.
But before that, yeah, the Oathbreaker will come. And you can fucking fight the Oathbreaker too. He's not easy. But
I would imagine not. He didn't look very easy.
And so if you're able to get Minthara down and then you melee her with passive on, she'll be knocked out. Then you can loot her, but just don't take her gear. Leave her clothes because later on it'll be weird. The game will bug out and she'll like have no half of a body. It's strange, but
really,
yeah, sometimes not. Otherwise, she will be naked, which is weird. I guess if you're in, you want to see her, but then take her clothes. But just leave her clothes on and take the two things that she has that are important, which is her weapon and her boots. So I think that's the only thing that's good. But you can leave her all her other clothes in there unless you want to wear her clothes. But that'd be weird. But yeah, leave her, and then what that's going to do is she's just going to have 1 HP and she's knocked out. And then you can take care of Jor Raglan, the guy that's next to her, the goblin boss.
Yeah,
the big guy. He's
the big guy.
He's a fuck. He's a barbarian, and he throws his spears and shit. So he's a bit of a pill. So using Astarion up top to pepper down is really good, but you need to stay hidden because he can throw up there. He's got a long range. But that's neither here nor there. But once you do all that, that's going to allow you to complete the mission to help the Grove, allow you to stay as a paladin without, whatever paladin you are, I don't know, but it's allow you to stay your current level without being an Oathbreaker, and it's going to allow you the possibility, because it's still not guaranteed, you still have to do things, to recruit Minthara later on in the game. However, I will tell you, she's a paladin. Minthara
really?
is a paladin. Yeah. And so if the Oathbreaker doesn't like her so much. So if you become an Oathbreaker and you get Minthara into your party and you do anything, when you come back to camp to rest, that dude's probably going to attack you. So I would suggest if you're going to do it this way is don't be an Oathbreaker. And also if you have Minthara later on, nobody likes her. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, when you go certain places, they're going to attack you on sight. So you have to be careful where you go with her. But she is the most interesting character in the entire game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's fucking crazy cool. Like, she has she's really, really in depth with it. I wouldn't say she's the most interesting character, but she's one of the best characters that you're not guaranteed to get, but that will allow you to get her without doing the crazy shit. Because honestly, in this game, if you doing like, I guess the right thing, I don't know, but doing the things that are going to keep you a paladin and not turn you into an Oathbreaker, they're going to be the most advantageous for rewards and for taking care of yourself. Because otherwise, if you go the other route, it takes away so many opportunities and so many gear options, and it takes away so many replenish options, and so you'll lose access to tons and tons of good loot by going the other route. So that's what I would suggest if you want to pick her up later.
Yeah,
she will get. She won't like you very much if you're constantly being a goody two shoe though. Like she's out for her self interest and power, essentially. Yeah, but she has you'll learn about her whole backstory if you ever get into it, and her growing up and how her mother treated it. It's pretty crazy, but that's how you would get her. But I would suggest if you're going to fight her, just make sure you're blessed and you have some sort of armor on you, like an armor spell, and then make sure that you have blur on your paladin. If you have those three things on you, she shouldn't be able to hit you very well, and you can just pepper her down. And as far as damage wise goes, like your paladin at this level, you should have enough damage to take her out pretty quickly. What weapon are you using for your paladin?
So I've got a short sword in one hand, and then I've got I think a Morning Star in the other.
So definitely you want to get a shield.
Okay.
You always want to shield it in on your paladin. It's going to increase your armor score by 2. So I don't know what your armor score is now, but right now at your level, your armor score should be either 18 or 19 without buffs. And then if you get bless on there, your armor score should be like 21.
Yeah, I feel like it has been such a slog, anything I've been trying to do. So I want to ask you this then, where's the best way to go, or what's the best place for me to go right now to kind of just gain experience and level up a little bit without getting like caught into anti-ethel, or just walk around? Is that what you recommend? Because I went down to a stupid well, and then I got attacked by spiders that were kicking my ass.
Yeah, there's a whole thing there. There's a giant matriarch spider in there too. She's a bitch. She's the last thing you should do. She's one of the toughest fights in the first act.
Okay.
There's tons, the gym fours and stuff, but like the main first act before part 2, because there's like part 1.5 and stuff before you can get to the actual second act. But outside the goblin camp, did you do anything with those guys?
Just I talked to them, and then I kind of told them, hey, I've got control over you, and use my power or whatever.
Oh, so like all the people outside at the fucking barbecue and all the partying and shit, they're still out there?
Yeah.
All right, so here's what you do. All right, so there's a few ways you could do this, man. Trying to make this the easiest way.
Because I think you're the one that told me, like, talk your way out of as much as you can. So that's what I've been trying to do.
Yeah, but if you have reload available to you and you can scum save and you're cool with that, then don't even worry about it. Just do whatever you want. But if you want to have some sort of like, I'm not going to keep reloading just to get this every time I want the game to play out, then don't do this. Or go to honor, or go to custom mode and turn on one save, but keep it easy, and so you can play that way. But yeah, I say that because you need to learn how to run shit before you start getting into big fights, and Minthara is one of them. Like, you can talk your way out of fighting Minthara. So there's that option if you want. You can talk your way of fighting, and then tell her. And I think that's when you become an Oathbreaker, right?
Yeah.
As you told her, just
I told her where the grove is at, basically.
Right. So you can do that. And say, go attack, and then when she comes to attack, you don't open the gates, and then you stand with the villagers, and you have a big giant battle. You can do it that way too, which is still siding on the side of the grove, yet now you're having a big giant battle at the grove instead of one-offing her, by herself. And I wouldn't suggest that. You'll lose a lot of people in the grove probably, and it's a pretty intense fight. It's fun experience, but it's a hard fight. So I would All right, so do you have the goblin save point? The goblins camp save point?
I think I do. And I can't remember. I've got to go back through and look on my save and see what I've kind of messed with and what I haven't. I think I've got it saved up until at least till the priestess is dead.
I mean fast travel. The goblin fast travel point.
Yeah, I think I can fast travel pretty close to it.
Yeah, you should be right in the goblin camp. Like there's a fast travel in the goblin camp right outside. Because there's a big ogre at the door. And if you look directly to your right, all the way over, there's a giant wall and some scaffolding, and then there's all kinds of shit over there. There's a fast travel point right there. So right on that fast travel point, there's a crusher who's a goblin, and that ring, you want that ring, it gives you movement speed. So you can actually suck his toes and he'll give you the ring. You can suck it off his toe. It's kind of funny, but you have to kill him to take his ring, or you can steal it from him, which is very difficult if you don't make the steal. Long story short, there's a scaffolding there and there's a ladder. If you go up that ladder, then there's a whole other area up there that is inaccessible to the goblins. They can get up there, but you can just burn the bridge, or you could burn the ladder, and then they have to, only the stronger ones can jump up, and it takes them a long time to get there if you can knock them off. But you go up there, and again, you take a star, and it's going to be your key starter. Always use a star in stealth to start your combat, because it's going to get a surprise attack almost every single time. And a lot of times he'll stay in stealth, which is going to allow you to have 2 stealth shots, which is going to be the most damage. Once you take a star in, you go up there, you separate your party. Anytime you go into a fight, unless you specifically want 2 characters to be linked, separate all of your characters so they're all not linked. That way, if one of them gets spooked and seen, the other ones won't, so you'll still have an opportunity for a surprise. Unless you want everyone to be in the fight immediately with surprise, because sometimes you would. Long story short, yeah, take a star in up to the top there, and this is where it's key. Not everyone gets alerted all the time. This group that's right by this giant wall that you just climbed up of, they're not going to alert the entire camp. They're only going to alert themselves. And so you'll have, instead of fighting 15 goblins at once, you're going to fight 3 or 4, and they're not that hard. They're like 12. Your archer should be able to right now one shot or almost one shot every single one of them, except for Crusher, who will eventually come up the ladder, which you want to come up the ladder before you burn it the second time, which I'll tell you. But yeah, start peppering those 4 goblins weakest first with Astarion, and as soon as they come up, then you'll have your other 3 characters there to take care of them, which pushing is good. Always try to push things off if you can to get extra damage from gravity and shit, but take those guys out, and that's going to give you Crusher's Ring, which is going to give you 3 meter plus movement speed on whatever character you want. I would suggest to put it on a fighter character if you have it. It seems like you're not doing that, so I would put it on your paladin. Your paladin just is more mobile.
Okay.
And you can that ring will probably be on you. I would keep that on you probably until the 3rd act, maybe even until the end of the game. It's one of the best. It's one of the best rings in the game that you can get. Movement speed is key in this game. So yeah, that's what I would do, is take those guys out. And as soon as you take those guys out, you can do silly stuff. So keep your Astarion up there and just place Gale, who has the illusion spell.
Yeah.
Just place it to a spot where you can cast that illusion and then run away and make these guys travel towards you. And as soon as they get in range, then start peppering with Astarion. Sometimes you can, if you one-shot them, it won't alert the entire camp. If you don't one-shot them, the entire camp's going to get alerted. If that's the case, then burn that ladder so they can't climb up, and just keep peppering these guys from up top, and then your people who can't go back into cover, because Astarion should be able to shoot. Should be able to shoot his bow and arrow, hit his target, and then go right back into cover, and then they can't see him. He's one of the coolest characters, like in terms of being able to jump in and out of combat.
Okay.
So you want to constantly do that, and then as they come forward, you just use your abilities. So like your paladin may not be much use unless they somehow get up there. It's kind of hard to explain, but you're going to get a lot of XP from doing that, because you're going to kill those guys, and it should be roughly 75 XP per kill. If not, some of them might be 10 for the lower levels, but it should be roughly 75 XP for per kill, and that should give you like a big boost in level. And if not, have you met Karlach yet?
Karlach, who's Karlach?
Oh, you would know.
No. I'm not good with names in the game.
A big red tiefling.
I think so.
Big and boisterous.
Oh, no. I have not.
Okay, yeah. So, from the place where there's the well, did you fight any goblins there?
No, I talked to, there was the dude, the gnome or whatever on the windmill, and I talked him down. I was like, hey, quit, leave him alone.
Okay, so did they go away?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, from that spot, where the well is, if you go the opposite direction, it's the middle direction between the Emerald Grove and the goblins, but you go straight through a large gate. Have you gone that way yet? It's a big, large gate, and then to the right, there's like this house building, like this barn.
I don't think so.
Okay, so go to the. This is just another thing you could do if you don't want to do the goblin stuff and you want to hold off.
Well, and I've got another question for you. The gnome's pack, like he's like, hey, you could have it. You saved me. I don't know where the hell it's at.
So if you go right around the windmill, there'll be a cellar door. You could just go down into the cellar.
Okay, so it's in the cellars where his pack is at?
Yeah, it's in there.
Okay.
And it's just right on the right side of the windmill. And you go down in there, and there's a pitchfork, which isn't useful unless you want to throw it. But at this point, it's not that great of a one-time thrower, but it's got some damage. And then it's useful. It might be useful to you. I don't know what your party's gear level is like right now, but it might be useful to you, some of the stuff he has in there. But outside of food, like there's a lot of crazy shit that's just a throwaway that you wouldn't take. But yeah, it's just right there. You'll see it.
Okay.
But right where that pack is, there's a broken down wall, like right by that windmill.
Mm-hmm.
To the right of the windmill.
Yeah.
That's where you wouldn't head that way. The door is to the right of that, but there's a broken down wall you can just jump over. That's the way you want to head. There's a barn you can check out. I'm not going to tell you what's in that barn because it's funny as hell, and you should check it out. But just be warned. That's all I'm saying. That's funny, but just be warned. But if you keep going that direction, wait. So you met Raphael then?
Again, I'm not good with names.
He's the devil, essentially.
Oh, yeah. Well, I met him in the goblin camp.
Did you?
Yeah.
What sparked that?
I climbed up this one area, and then all of a sudden he was up at the top of this ladder. And, well, I guess it was inside of the goblin, stronghold or whatever. I climbed up to the top of the ladder, and he was just, boom, he appeared.
Oh, okay, yeah, he does do that. So this interaction you would get if you went this other way as well. So I guess you wouldn't worry about that. But you're going to go this way, and you're going to come into a bridge that's broken. You just jump over the broken part of the bridge, and then you're going to come across these hyenas and some other things, and they're pretty rough. These guys, but they're not too terribly rough, and they'll give you some pretty good XP. And then if you keep going on that path, you'll find Karlach. And I suggest you decide how you want to play, but she's a barbarian. And barbarians are cool, man. They're pretty tough. So you could use her if you wanted to, and she's super cool. She's one of the coolest ones in the game. And she'll help you. She'll give you some direction.
Okay. To
where to go next, which will give you one of the best swords that you're going to be able to have until Act 3.
Okay. Yeah, and I saved the bear dude, but I don't know where the hell he went.
Oh, the cub?
No, not the cub. The guy, the one that I was going after in the goblin camp, the guy from the grove.
Halson?
Yeah.
What do you mean you saved him?
He was down in the dungeon or whatever, and I freed him and fought the people off down there. I've done that part.
Did you not talk to him afterwards?
I did, and he was like, I can either go with you or I can go back to the camp. Or he didn't basically say go back to the camp, but it was either either you handle this, like take care of those 3 people.
Yeah.
But I don't know where the hell he went, because I was like, well, maybe I should have him in my party because he's strong.
Yeah, he's a bear.
That's I'm like, man, I just don't know what the hell I'm doing in this game. Like, I just feel like I've got so many choices, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on.
It is a bunch. So, is he no longer down there?
Oh, I don't think so. He's gone, I think.
So you told him to wait here or to go then?
I told him to go, I think.
Yeah, well, you should have done that. Because he would have been added to your party as a companion, but he would have been fully used. Like he would have been his full druid, so you would have had his bear form and his regular form, and he's very tough. And so if you had him, you would just walk through Minthara for sure.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, dude, he's got it's a bear with like 45 health, and then once his bear form is released, he turns back to his regular self. And then he immediately will transform back into the bear. It's like you get the bear twice. And he heals himself as a bear too, like a lot. He's very strong.
Okay.
Yeah, he's very, very strong. So that would have helped. So you might want to go back there and see if he's in there. Hopefully you didn't get a check, because you can actually recruit him too. Like he can be in your party potentially.
Yeah, because I was just like, I was wanting him to go back to the Grove and get rid of Crazy Lady.
Oh, Kaga?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that might be something you could do. I don't know, dude. There's so many things you could do. So Kaga has a secret about her too, and since Halcyon came back, you might have missed out on it. But she has a secret that you can exploit and actually help the Grove out before you even get Halcyon back.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, she's got a secret. She's a shadow druid, which you wouldn't know until you found some documents that she has that it's a secret chest, but you only find that if you're like snooping around a bunch and you've played the game a lot, and you're like, oh shit, what is this? And then you're like, oh, this bitch has got a secret. Then you go find out she's a shadow druid and she's undermining Halcyon the whole time. But yeah, that's why she's kind of a bitch, because it's her plan is to destroy everything, and she thinks she's doing right. Long story short, yeah, you probably missed out on that one this playthrough, but it's another one you can always play through later if you ever want to see it. But yeah, I mean, Halcyon would have been good to have there, but you can still do without him. It's not a problem. It's really not. Just use your high ground a lot. Use spells, man. Buff your guys up before fights like crazy. Bless, always bless. You always want bless. It's going to help your attacks out, and then you want some sort of armor. It just kind of depends on what you're looking for. There's a few different types of armor that you can use. I think your paladin, I think, has one of them that you can use on him, so he can have that. But typically you want your concentration spells on characters that aren't going to be getting concentrated broken. So your clerics who stay back and your wizards who stay back, or so they're not getting their concentration broken. So you're continuously having these buffs. Scroll of Blur, use that, so that way it's going to be harder for hit you. Or you can do the Scroll of Mirror, which will give you a little bit of AC armor class.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you go back into it, when you have time, just check your armor class out. And at that point, at your level, if you're level 5, even level 4, your armor class should be 18 to 20.
Okay.
Yeah, and it should stay roughly that until like Act 3, until you get access to like extreme armor, and then you can get your armor class up to, without buffs and stuff, you can get your armor class up to 22. And then with buffs, like you can get your armor class up to like 30 almost, like where you're just unhittable. Like you literally, you won't even get hit by bosses. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, yeah, I've got to sit down and play some more. Maybe this next weekend. I've got all kinds of stuff all the time, it seems like, anymore. But I do want to play some more because like I am enjoying it. I feel like I'm like, fuck, this game is hard. So I've been tempted to drop the difficulty. But I don't want to do that either.
Yeah, I instead just approach it differently.
Yeah.
Don't try to brute force it. That's the problem I make with this game all the time. Even now, I always want to brute force it, but that's not how this. You can brute force it, but you need the things to brute force it to do it.
Right.
You need to buff up like crazy. That's just, this game requires. Gear is the most important thing in this game. So having strong gear, and having spells put on you is what's going to save you. Like you could get those spells put on you, and Minthara's not going to be able to hit you. She won't. They can do area of effect spells that will attack you, make you slow, or make you go prone and stuff. But typically with her, she can do hold. So you want to have high. I can't remember what hold. I think it's Constitution. So you don't get. So you can spell save a hold, because hold, getting held or getting frightened or charmed in this game is the worst, because then you just don't get to attack or do anything. So yeah, buffing your character beforehand and then having a bit of an attack plan. Just always remember with the Starion, if you're going to keep using him, he should always be the first to attack, and he should always be the furthest away from the attacker. Always. Okay. And he should be anywhere there's high ground, to make sure you have high ground, and only attack from stealth. And always go back into stealth after you've attacked. Always.
Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes you're too far out of range to do your advantaged attack. But even if you don't get the advantaged attack, you'll still get bonus from elevation, which is huge. And then having the ability to deal damage with no repercussions is great. Sometimes you'll become under fire because they also have snipers and they have things. But yeah, with Minthara, if you want to try that path, just make sure you finish the battle with a melee blow with passive skill on. If not, then just go to ham on her. And I would suggest you can even weaken her, but you shouldn't need to. You shouldn't need to if you've buffed your character up and you just use a little bit of strategy and keep the other guys back.
Yeah,
I don't know. Try it out and see what you come up with, and then if not, dude, give me a call while you're playing, and then we'll fucking talk it out, man.
Yeah, no, I may do that. It'd probably be next weekend before I get to play again, but yeah, I'm enjoying. Like, I like the world. I like the way that it looks. I like the kind of the crazy shit you can do. Because it seems like you can be super creative with it, and I know you had talked about it, a few times. We talked about it on the podcast for quite a bit now, but. I've really enjoyed the experience and kind of how shit kind of plays out when the dice roll, and they did a good job of capturing the D&D feel.
Yeah, especially if you are someone who's prone to a certain way or the other. Like I can't, even in this game, dude, I'm getting crit ones like no one's business. Like I got 3 crit ones in a row and using inspiration to continue to reroll, and I got 3 crit ones in a row. I was like, okay, well, it's just meant for me to fail this damn check, and so I just failed the check. But it's like that's what would happen in real life because I suck at rolling. Also, it's fun. It's fun. There's things you can do to increase your luck, to increase your chances of success. But it's all kinds of different stuff. And one more thing that you can do if you want, and this is fun. And it's not a cop-out. It's not a cop-out at all. But so Roa Moonglow, the little midget who's selling shit there in the Goblin camp?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you go behind her, there's a locked door. There's like 12 or 15 powder kegs back there.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And you've already killed the priestess, so what you can do is go where the priestess's main room is. That's right next to Aurora Moonglow or whatever. Right where all our table and shit is. And you can jump up to the ledge. Once you're in a room, you can jump up this wooden ledge, and you can sneak into that other room behind where they're guarding it.
Yeah.
And then all you have to do is right click. Oh fuck, I don't know about controller. All you have to do is basically just put those into your inventory, however you do it with controller.
Yeah.
Select it and then put those into your inventory, and you can transfer anything between characters. So put as much as you can until you're encumbered, and then transfer as much as you can to distribute it without your party. So that way you can get all 12 of those powder kegs. Jump back over. Then walk up to Minthara. I'm assuming you've saved it where she's still chill. She's not hostile, right?
Yeah, no, she's not hostile.
And just walk over to her and don't acknowledge her and just drop a powder keg take a couple steps, drop another powder keg, put another powder keg on top of the 2 you got there, put another one if you want for good measure, put another one down, and then go back, look at her, and just throw a fireball at the powder kegs, and then call it a day.
Call it a day.
And he said it's that if you want to win the fight that way, it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, fight. So that's the way you can do it too, and it's easy. It takes no time. And then you have powder kegs that you can put in your camp, put them in your traveler's chest that just carry you everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And you'll have tons of powder kegs to use at your disposal whenever you want. And there's tons more you can always grab. Anytime you see a powder keg, just pick it up, send it to your camp.
Okay.
Because if you want to one-shot a boss later, yeah, you'll have that opportunity. Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is fucking badass, dude. It's silly, but it is what it is. But yeah, that's one way to do it too. If you really just want to brute force it, then just go blow her ass up.
Yeah.
And you're done.
I'll have to think about that. I've got to figure out how I want to approach that. I mean, and that's like I said, I think that's one of the cool things about it is there's so many different ways to do it.
Yeah. You want to go have sex with a squirrel? Fucking yes, bro. You can make a squirrel fall in love with you. So that's true.
That's true. Yeah.
Did you get a dog? Did you get your dog?
No, not yet. I haven't come across the dog.
Okay, so yeah, you're gonna want to do that. He's the best companion in the game due to his ability to. I can't give things away. Yeah, he's the best.
No, that's cool.
There's also a little quattrel that you could get. A little fucking demon asshole. Yeah, he's a little piece of shit, but he's cool. He can go in Viz and scare people and shit. It's funny.
It's funny.
He always wants to murder shit. It's always screaming at you to fucking let him go murder stuff because he's bored. And you can get him too, so you can have those two. And you can get a zombie dude who's in love with this girl that you saved from the hag.
Yeah.
Instead of giving her back her husband, you just enslave him and make him your fucking zombie slave.
That's funny.
Then you have 3 summons, right? That you can recast at any time for the rest of the game. There you go. There's your first step into necromancy. That's cool, man. I'm glad you're having fun. I hope you get to play it a bit more. And like Nick said, anytime we talk about Baldur's Gate 3, you guys shut me up because I'll probably play that game when we get off here. So
nice. No, I think that's awesome. I'm gonna get this put together. We gotta get this out to the masses. What else you got going on this week?
NCAA football comes out for the first time since 2014, so I'll probably play that.
Nice.
Yep, that's create my school, recruit, be a fucking DGen for a day or so, I guess, and a couple days play some football. Since Madden sucks, this is the same people that made Madden, so it probably sucks too. But I'll probably do that. Bachelor this week. In terms of locale, I'm not like separated from my spouse, but I'm alone, just me and the dogs this week. So that's all we're doing. My sister's coming into town on Friday, so that'll be good.
That'll be cool.
That, just regular shit, man. Life,
Cool.
Yeah.
Very awesome. But yeah, was there anything else you wanted to bring up before we kind of close this out today?
Dude, I think I've said enough.
Yeah, I God bless Trump and Godspeed to him. I hope there's no major injuries, and it seems like he's good. So
yeah, fucking what a wild day, what a wild weekend. Fuck.
Yeah, and the only other thing I'm going to say is that whether you like Trump or you like Biden, whatever the case may be, and I doubt if you like Biden, you're listening to our podcast anyways, but I think just, I don't mean to sound like preachy when I say this, but just pray for our country, man. Like, we are in a bad way.
Yeah. Scared.
Yeah.
To wake up the next day and then life will be completely different for you. So, like, the best interest of the country at heart, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just be kind. I think that's the number one thing.
Yeah, good point.
I don't know, man.
Cool.
Man. Good talking to you, brother.
All right. We'll talk to you guys soon.